how did you two meet? You and Pat. Whenever you guys first met.
How did we meet?
How did you meet? M-E-E-T.
We met. Here's the thing. It's a long story.
But you can tell me a long
All my
story.
stories are long. We lived down by Sylvania Hills Cemetery.
In Rochester.
And well, behind
Rochester,
New Brighton. And so we had to go to Fair Oaks all the time during the weekends, all the time, because my grandmother lived there.
Yeah. And
my mother had to go see her mother and her sisters. So it was a Wednesday night, and we went to Fair Oaks. And my cousin lived just down the street from my grandmother, and I went down to my cousin's house to spend time with my cousins who were just my age.
Okay.
They weren't home.
Okay.
Nancy's my age, and she wasn't home. She was at youth group. So my mother drove me down to Ambridge, to the United Presbyterian Church, which is right across the street from the seminary now. And they were having a good time putting this thing together. And so I was having a good time with them. And I remember I was sitting on the Sunday school table on the top, and he was sitting on the bench part. And I tapped him on the head and said something.
Like you pet a little dog, you know.
and he said, from the time, now this is you need to get this. He said, I tapped him on the head, and from that time on, he knew he loved me.
Really? It was like love at first sight?
At first tap.
At first tap, I'm sorry. Love at first tap. So what was your first date?
Our first date was probably a double date with Bob and Nancy. Huh?
Probably.
Do you remember what you did?
Oh my heavens, we went to the movies all the time. It was...
You guys were lovers of cinema.
We always went to that was just what you did in those days.
You know, in Ambridge, there was 4 theaters.
4?
At one time, 4.
So did you go on dates to every single one?
I think that probably at one time or another we were in them. Huh?
We hardly ever went to the Ambridge theaters, Kenny, because I lived down in Sylvania Hills.
And then, if you had to pick your favorite movie that you guys saw together, do you have a favorite?
The favorite movie. Oh, the movie or the theater?
The favorite movie.
Oh, well, we got 2 favorite movies.
You have 2.
If it doesn't have to do with a gun, a horse, or
a cowboy?
Cowboys of some sort, then it's not his favorite. My favorite movie, I have a lot of favorite movies.
Do you?
I always liked the sound of music, but that was after I got married.
Everybody that knows me knows that my favorite movie is The Bridge on the River Kwai.
Yes, I know
that was after we got married.
So your first date was at the movies, right? You said that, right? Probably at the movies?
Nancy.
With Bob and Nancy.
And we had a lot of dates at the drive-in.
Okay.
That was in the days of drive-in movies.
What kind of car did you guys
in the 50s.
go to?
Car? Kenny, what kind of car did you have then?
Did I have the convertible then?
You had a convertible when you got home from the Army, I think. It was probably a Chevy. Huh?
I don't remember having a black car.
And so you went to the movies often. So you were together for how many years before you got engaged?
4.
4? So how long was your engagement? Because you met when you were 16, you got married when you were 20.
5 months.
You were engaged for 5 months?
Oh man.
Wow.
Straight to the point.
While he was
you have
still
to remember
overseas?
we went together for 4 years.
Yeah. While he was still in Korea, or was it whenever he came back home?
After he got
After
home.
he came home?
Yeah. I was going to take the preacher to the airport with me to pick him up.
Really? Oh, don't. Why are you telling me stories like that? I wasn't there whenever you guys got married.
Because you're so gullible.
Oh my gosh. How did you propose?
He didn't ask me. He told me.
You told her?
Yes.
What'd you say?
He said, I want to marry you.
Oh, he had a ring?
And I said, gimme.
Where did you have your wedding?
The First Presbyterian Church in Rochester.
How many people did you
I
have there?
knew that.
You knew that?
Uh-huh.
You knew the answer to that one.
My dad had a bad fall at that, didn't he?
At the church.
Oh gosh.
At the church. He came down the stairs and I think he thought he was at the last stair, and he went down and his head hit the wall across.
He didn't know that there was one more step, I guess.
Wow, that was a traumatic wedding experience.
Yeah.
Did it happen after the ceremony or before?
After the ceremony.
Okay, at least it was after the ceremony.
That was good.
And how many guests did you have?
I think we had like 150 people.
You were popular.
And we had a fire hall reception.
In Rochester?
No, it was in Fair Oaks.
In Fair Oaks?
Because my dad was a fireman when we lived in Fair Oaks. He was a volunteer fireman.
Okay.
And we got the hall for free.
Well, that's nice.
You got the hookup.
Yeah. You wore your service suit. Your
No.
no. What did
He doesn't. No, he didn't wear that.
you wore?
after
Tux.
He threw it away on the boat over.
Really?
What?
Your service uniform.
I
Your
threw
army.
the underwear overboard. That's the only thing I had.
Why? Why'd you throw the underwear overboard?
Because I had so much of it. And then it would get dirty and I would throw it over the...
They didn't have laundry?
There was like 5,000 guys on that ship.
You had 150 guests. You wore a tuxedo,
No,
Right.
he just wore a blue suit.
a blue suit.
I
Okay.
got it.
I can get.
And then, what was your wedding dress like?
Oh. It was long. It was all lace. And he had a V-neck and a Queen Anne collar. And long sleeves. It was in March. The dress cost me. The lace was like $30-some.
You had it custom made,
Yeah.
so you didn't have to buy a pattern or anything.
No, she made it from the picture.
Okay. What was your inspiration picture? Was it from a magazine?
I scoured the bride magazines
Mm-hmm.
and I found this dress
Mm-hmm.
and I said, this is mine.
Mm-hmm.
I went all over Pittsburgh looking for this dress.
You couldn't find it.
Nobody had it. I had been to a wedding. One of our neighbors got married and she had her dress made by this lady in Baden, Mrs. Marr,
Okay.
on Berry Avenue. And so I went to Mrs. Marr and I said, this is the dress that I would like to have. Can you make this? And she said, oh yes. So I went to Kaufman's and I got the lace. And I was going to get satin for underneath,
Mm-hmm.
but she suggested taffeta. So she said, that's a lot of dress to have satin. She said, why don't you just go with taffeta, because no one's going to see the satin anyway. I got the taffeta. I don't remember how much the taffeta was, but the lace was $30-some, so taffeta was cheaper than that.
Yeah.
And I took it to her, and she took my measurements, and she did the whole dress and called me in, and I
Was
had
it
a couple
exactly
of
what you
Honestly,
wanted?
I don't know where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you check the laundry basket in there? I had buttons going down the front, covered with the lace, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like a full, wasn't gathered skirt, it was what do you call it, from an A-line, from the waist,
Okay.
but it was, you know, it was out.
Yeah.
It was a nice wedding. We had a potato salad and ham.
And how?
We had my mother's friends put the food together and everything. We didn't even have a caterer or anything like that.
Did you do a first dance?
We didn't even have, he doesn't dance. He's never danced.
Never danced.
He wouldn't, no, he doesn't dance.
Did you have a cake?
Oh yeah.
What kind of cake?
Well, yellow, and the top was the third layer, and on top was chocolate. Ask about the weather.
Yeah, because it was in March. The cold?
When oh my, it was so windy. When I left the house for the church, oh my goodness, my veil, my gown was blowing all over the place. It was so cold when we came out of that church.
Did you have a jacket or anything?
I had my coat,
Okay.
but we left that night. We were going to Niagara Falls.
Okay, I was going to
Very
ask.
original.
Well, I mean, it is. I was going to ask if you left right after the wedding or if you went home for a couple of days or.
No, we left right away.
Okay.
And then the next day we started out after spending the night at a motel in Zillionople, and right outside Zillionople. And so, because it started snowing, we woke up, the world was white.
Really?
Oh, for
And we
snow.
started out for Niagara Falls from there, and the roads were terrible. And we went into a tailspin and went off the road.
Really?
And the ash truck came along. This was in the days before salt.
So it was ash.
It was an ash truck. And so the ash truck pulled us out of the ditch.
That was awfully nice.
And we went, well, we didn't really go into the ditch. We went into a bank.
A snowbank.
And snow plugged up the radiator.
Oh.
And we started out and the car was overheating. And that's when you got out and dug the snow out of the radiator. Do you remember that, Kenny?
Yeah.
Before you had kids, what was your favorite things to do as a couple together? Like,
Oh, we had a great Sunday school class.
you had Sunday school class? Did you teach the Sunday school or you attended Sunday school?
Did we what?
You said you had a great Sunday school class. Were you teaching it or
Oh, no, this was our Sunday school class in our age group.
Okay.
It was young married couple.
Okay.
And there were about 6 or 8 of us, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Couple different couples. And we just had the best time. We would go to Economy Park once a month and have a cookout, and we just went places and did things, and we visited each other's houses, and we played pinochle and
I've
Monopoly.
never played pinochle before.
No,
Mm-mm.
we used to play pinochle all the time, and Monopoly.
Monopoly?
We played Monopoly and Pokino.
What's Pokino?
It's something like poker, huh? But you use a board or something. I don't know. You know what? If they sat me down with a deck of cards today and said play pinochle, I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't remember. It's been so long. We were just talking about that the other night. But we went back and forth to each other's houses all the time. And that was just what we did.
And then one of the family, he worked for Davy Tree, and he moved. He got a good job at the home base of Davy Tree out in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So he took that. So we would go out every once in a while and visit with him out there at Davy
They moved to
Tree.
Kent.
Yeah.
To Kent. That conversation went by quickly.
We're actually making good progress here in the center, though.
Yeah.
Here I am. See there?
Good going, hon.